Hi, guys, and welcome to Transits and Tactics. Oh, exciting times, and when they're not exciting, but I find that this transit, ooh, it is very tricky. It is very tricky because we're talking about gate 32. This is the gate of continuity, and what I really like, the continuity, the gate of continuity is kind of like a financial manager to the harmonic gate 54, which is very entrepreneurial and the drive for success and drive to achieve what you want. So if you have 54, you are right now in this channel of transformation. I actually have the 54, so we will talk about it a little bit later. But right now, let's just dive into this gate because it has a very unpleasant shadow. The theme of this gate, it's about financial material success and solidity. And sometimes, we can be looking at our position, the world is changing. We can be either adapting or struggling to adapt to big changes that are happening. And so the fear in the shadow of this gate is the fear of failure. And it's all the assessment of your adequacy or inadequacy, your ability to be someone. This could be very low self-esteem, theme in the air right now. It's the transformation, it's the change, it's the fact that this gate is about the instinct that something needs to be changed, and it becomes so acute that sometimes you can question you and question you and your purpose, and feel like you want to maybe break everything around you. So there is a lot of things. If you are in a situation where your business is not making money, or there is a big change, there's some sort of like a break in continuity, it can deeply affect you. It can. And it can make you feel like exhausted of trying as well. So just beware of it. The transit will pass in a few days, and this energy will also lift. So we are talking about money problems. We are talking about the business success. We are talking about all these kind of things. And maybe sometimes it's about the fact that the adaptation is required because things are changing. And so how can you adapt? But then think about it. This is the gate of continuity. How can you adapt to the changes around by still being true to who you are and continuing to doing your thing, but just assessing where you're putting energy at the same time? Because I find that sometimes we get too caught up in the projects that we are involved in. And beware, beware, beware. There's a lot of people stuck in a dream up stage, and they always talk about their big plans, and they organize everything around these talks. But that's energy draining, because what they're not doing is they're not taking action into the most difficult part of building anything. It's the beginning part where it's just the laying down of foundations, and you can't really see any progress, and it's hard and it's long, and it requires so much trust. And some people are afraid to even go there, and so they get stuck in this previous stage. That those kind of projects, they're not giving you back anything. So again, we are here where we are acutely feeling like, what about the material resources? How is this going to be sustainable? Maybe sometimes some of these projects need to be let go. And this is why we have gate 42, which is the gate of growth. And growth is about cycles. It's about the start and the end of the cycle, right? So it's a really good time now when you might be feeling down, you might be feeling like you have failed, but trust me, the failure is always an opportunity to assess, right? Maybe things need to be finished, or sometimes things that have been working for you, and they were beneficial, but they also came to the end. You need to assess those things too. There's no need to hold on to something that has finished this cycle, because this is how everything in the universe works, in cycles. So maybe something new needs to start. So I think the bright side of this energy is that if we allow ourselves to focus on what can adapt, then we can discover a lot of creative ways to do so and thrive. And thrive if you make those changes, right? So by assessing what needs to go, you're also opening the energetic void. And I find that every time, it's like in a way cleaning your space. I know when I'm feeling stuck, I always clean around, organize my desk, clean space, clean my email list. And I feel like there is an energetic void for something good to come in, opens up. And so, I've never that I can remember that I did that kind of cleanse and something bad came in. I find that bad stuff comes when we're stuck, right? So start cleaning, start assessing. And it doesn't matter what was in the past. This is a moment as well, is that, okay, the past cycle is finished. Now the new cycle is starting. And it could be potentially positive, life changing, if you are shifting this energy. And I love this about the transits, the fact that they come in and they make you and force you sometimes really harshly to look at something, something that you are maybe neglecting, or to look at it from a different angle. Because you could have this idea about yourself that is almost becoming your identity, but it isn't. If you look at it, if you allow yourself to assess it in a slightly different way, right? And I think that this is beautiful. You always get a chance for a new start. You always get a chance, any moment, you get a chance to start something or adapt or change and create a new cycle that will be more positive, right? So also a very good time because of all this, we are assessing things, and it's good to think about long-term investment, and it might not be financial, but your well-being and health. So a lot of choices you are making, put yourself first, put yourself, your well-being, your health. If you don't have health, you will not have energy. The other thing before I stop talking, I want to talk about is the 54th gate. And it's the gate of ambition, or marrying maiden. And really, with the 54 gate, there's a lot of entrepreneurial kind of streaks in it. I have that gate, and this channel, if you have the 54th gate, the channel of transformation is giving you the drive and capacity to attain distant goals. So it's really, really cool. If you have the gate 54 right now, use that energy to lay foundations for your big dreams, for your big goals, for maybe it's a big project. Like I am writing this book now, that is sometimes feels such a big project I started, but this is the drive. You can get yourself out of the darkness by focusing on something creative. So this is a really, really good time for that, because it's all about transforming hard work into material success. And that's beautiful to have that kind of, energy behind you this week. So it could be, this week is a lot to do with financial, material plane, job, business opportunities, and reassessing everything. The other thing is that remember that other people are also facing these, internal battles right now, the fear of failure, and some are affected less and some are affected much more. But also other people want to give you advice, and the advice will be, based on their own experience, and they might argue and try and prove that their position is right. No matter what's happening right now, this is not a period for harsh, quick action. It is about contemplation, assessment. So follow your own strategy and authority when you're making decisions, because this is crucial. The transit, as I said, it's going to be passing in a couple of days. Whatever decisions you made, and action especially, every action that you take now, if you don't follow your inner guidance, you will face the consequences when this energy is moved to whatever is ahead. And Anita, you were saying to me the other day, there's so much more that contributes to the low points that we might be experiencing. So I'll just pass the baton to you.
With this energy, it's really, really strong this week because the full moon is in Aries, is in the gate 42. And I think part of the world strife at the moment is people refusing to let go the old, refusing to allow the new in, right? And, you have the old boys overtaking different countries. They want to repeat the past rather than move on with the future. So this energy at the moment, the Chiron is here. All our fear and resentment about things not working out needs to be cleared at this moment in time. This full moon, if I got into it with manifesting, the biggest number one key to manifesting is the ability to let go. And these two energies, the 32 and the 42, the 32 is the assessor. What do I let go? And what do I keep? Or what's worth my time and energy? If I'm afraid, well, we're always going to feel a sense of urgency before we do something. It means it asks us to see the potential. And if there's no potential there, let it go. The 42 is saying, okay, I'm getting stuck in my expectations. And this is key because our expectations of how things need to be set up a continual disappointment. And I actually use this energy to help people understand how their natural process of letting go. Because gate 42, which grounds the 32, is all about um, am I grasping, healing, fixing things to keep them in my life when they need to go? Or am I prematurely finishing things before they're complete? So it keeps me in FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm in a constant state of grieving because when something comes to a natural end of its cycle, I feel I'm losing something instead of letting it go naturally.
Yes.
And it's like, it's, this is kind of, it's not brutal energy, it's understanding that your design actually tells you what your process is of letting go. And it's like anything, it's like healing. You know, you have to clean the wound before you put the plaster on. Otherwise it festers,
I
right?
love that analogy. This is perfect analogy.
It's brilliant, right? So this is hugely important because we are in a the 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 planets or the guidance at the moment is we're in a grand cross, which is a tension between what to keep, what to let go. And the emotional energy that we're holding around that, the fear, the anger, the resentment, the disappointment. Because there was a really good comment here that I had. What was it? This energy keeps us in the dream that the future holds a greater promise than the now. It keeps everything on the long finger, and we're wondering why things aren't working out because we're living in our future all the time rather than being in the now. Start focusing on today. What can I do today? And it's really, really, my daughter is a brilliant example of this. She rings me up every so often when she's coming to a turning point in her life, because this is where this is where we are. We're at a turning point. Globally, we're at a
Mm.
turning. And it's quite destructive energy because we're all these emotions are enmeshed with our expectations and our dreams. And it's like we can't, we need to separate them. And she would say, Mom, I just want to check with you. I want you to confirm my sacral, my decision strategy. Am I running or is it natural time for me to go? And so she knows that about herself, which I think is a huge advantage to anybody knowing their decision strategy, because she knows that when she stops something prematurely, she stops the completion.
That's
And
right.
when we don't complete, another way of really getting this energy out of balance, as you say, motivation for expectation in as an entrepreneur, right? We need to have hope. We need to be determined and driven. And what can happen here is that our drive to complete something can stop us from celebrating each step. So this is really the home of always striving, never arriving. And
Mm.
fear of failure keeps me doing that. So the two of them can play in a very destructive mode for us, keeping fear driving our business decisions instead of our brilliance. And so when we're always striving, never arriving, the biggest tip I can give you today in your business is celebrate every step.
Yes.
I cleared some emails today. Yahoo! Celebration, right? Celebrate it. So it means that you're keeping your activities in the now, and it stops that future seeking, you know. With this, we kind of grasp I'm talking about the gate 42 more than ever because the full moon is there. It's highlighting. So in your business, where are you grasping onto old ways of doing things that truly need to go? I know you're going to feel fear that you don't really know what's coming next, but the truth is, we're smarter than this. We know what's worked in the past. We know we can build on that rather than um, worry that we're not going to come up with something new. Of course, we are, but we need to get out of the fear to allow that to emerge. With the eclipse, which was how do you handle a crisis? It's the crisis of change, or it can be being open and adaptable, allowing yourself to pivot when you need to. And that's what business is all about anyway. So if you're in business as an entrepreneur and you want everything to be the same, get out, go get a job now. But when if you're open to growing and allowing natural cycles to end, understanding that there's no such thing as a program that'll last forever, that you're always going to be adapting and improving. Um, Now that's where you're an entrepreneur. Go for it.
You know what? I have a couple of things to add. There's one thing. So the very first thing I want to say about celebration, because in my design, actually, there's like inability to celebrate. I think it's my gate 35, which is my design son. It's like, okay, what's next? I don't celebrate, but here's how I celebrate the achievements. I make to-do lists every day, and I call them my missions. I literally write missions Wednesday, blah blah blah, and I cross them off. And this is how I celebrate, by putting it like a tick things off. That's a form of celebration. So whatever way feels, and maybe it's because of my environmental style as an observer, I don't really get into things. So whatever way, you need to learn your process. This is what I really loved, Anita, what you said. Knowing your process gives you such a power navigating through whatever life throws at you. And we all get down, and it's okay. It's not making us weak. No way. We need to learn what darkness is to recognize the light. We need to see what ugly is to recognize what is beautiful. But what we need to understand is that things are changing all the time. So now I'm moving to the second point that I wanted to just follow up on what you were saying about the cycles and the business. And if you want everything to be the same, first of all, it never will be, because everything in business, even in your the most successful signature program you have, the most anything successful, it will have a natural cycle. So every product has a cycle, right? It's naturally will, even if it was successful, it'll come to some sort of form of down wave, right? So we need to be adapting. And unfortunately, we're living in the 21st century. So the times when you can get a job and everything will be the same forever is also gone, right? There is no security in anything. So we are here as a collective, we're learning to adapt. And this is really, really important, and there is another thing as well, that it's really important when we're facing the fear of failure, because we have to ask, what are you actually failing at? Are you failing? Is it something that you don't feel like you have a purpose in life? But did you give all your power and you assigned that purpose to an external activity that goes outside you? And just because right now you don't have this activity, that you're going to beat yourself up? Question that belief. Because at the end of the day, your bigger purpose is never on the outside of you. And that is really a big shift to have. I think this week we're pushed into realization of that more and more.
Absolutely. And I have to add to that as well, because I have the gate 32 and it's activated by my Venus. And what it means to me is you need to redefine what failure is. I remember someone saying to me, "Oh my God, you failed. Oh my God." And I'm kind of there. You don't really need to dramatize that. I'm a scientist. Scientists are born to, we're about trying and error. What people don't realize is science didn't just poof out of nowhere and happen. Science is a base of trying it, testing it. Is it working or not? And the
Most of
ability.
the time it doesn't work. We have to stress that. Most of the time it doesn't.
Exactly. And the time it doesn't work doesn't mean failure. You need to keep that open growth, right? The way the two of them play, 32, 42. You need to keep that open and learning mindset to say, "Ooh, that didn't work. I wonder how it might work differently. I wonder what I need to do differently too. Is it something I need to can, or is it something I continue with?" So it's a beautiful assessment energy if you look at it, to understand the natural cycle of business, of projects, of work. And at the other side, it's the energy of fear. Oh my God, I won't be able to make money. If I leave my job, I won't make money. And it really, they play together so constructively, which is what we want to describe today, or destructively. But the energies at the moment are saying, look, clear your fears, clear your pain around perceived loss, around perceived failure, and start looking at kind of going, okay, well, look, can I grow from this? Or is it just something I truly need to get that needs to go in the trash? As my son used to say, sometimes when I'd be healing this and, processing that, he'd be there, "Mom, sometimes things just need to go in the trash. It's not broken. It's time to go." It's so fun to watch this. And with this energy as well, it's just learning that we do have a natural process. So instead of, with the 32 trying to bash old ways of doing things, open up to your own way of doing it. Open up to your design. Go to Juliet and find out about your marketing style. Come to me and find out how to bring it into action. And there's like, you know, this is what needs to happen anyway. The stuckness from trying to keep things the same is crippling. It's crippling. And so once we clear these emotion energy around it, it frees us to just, you know, use our expertise to assess things instead of our emotion. And I love this because when I see, oh, there's no potential in that, okay, it's a no-brainer to let it go. And it just makes life so much easier when we're not emotionally grasping at everything or afraid of missing out. It's the two.
That is
But
so, so true, especially with the emotions. Emotional approach to everything is it's not always a positive thing.
yeah,
I would say
exactly.
it's never a positive thing.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree. The emotion is the glue. People want to
Yeah,
be emotionally attached. The emotion creates an enmeshment. It's the resonance, God, that person's on my wavelength. That's what's super sexy about connection, not the emotion. The emotion can be very destructive.
it's true. Yeah.
Just to look at the news, look at everything around you and see, why are these people in strife, are in trouble, are struggling? And a lot of it is because they're trying to keep something going that's ready to be let go. And so you'll see for yourself the evidence of where this um, universal guidance is so powerful. Now that you know this is the energy, you can go, oh, it's not just me. I can step back and I can look at, hang on, where am I hanging on to stuff that I really need to question, as Juliet says? What am I not questioning? What old rules and, all this stuff. So that actually in itself helps you to detach from the expectation. And so it's
I
so
really
amazing.
love that. It's like we're in the school of life and every week we're giving this homework, like journaling homework in a way and contemplation homework. And if you see it as, oh my God, it's me in the middle of this whole thing, it can feel extremely heavy. But if you just sit with it and just contemplate. And I think that this is exactly one of the reasons we're doing these transit videos is to just give you guys a these homework, to that we are going through ourselves as well, and exactly, it's not we need to take responsibility for our lives. It's not always because the plan has changed or something, of course, but those things in a way nudge you into looking at different things. We can't look at everything at the same time. It's impossible. So we're just addressing one thing at a time, and this is really, really beautiful. Guys, thank
Exactly.
you so much. This was a really profound thing. So sit on it a little bit. And let us know how you're experiencing this transit. And hopefully, we will see you next week on the next transit. Thank you, Anita. And guys, we will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics.